What's up, people? Just doing a quick little overview of this GEC 42 Lockback. I'll do the specs right off the bat, and this is coming straight off of GP Knives. It's 7.62 inches overall length. You got a 3.5 inch blade length with a sharpened edge of 3.25 inches. The blade material on this one is 440C. It's obviously a Lockback. The handle material is linen micarta maroon. You got nickel silver bolsters, brass liners, and it weighs in at 3.3 ounces and is made in the USA. Right off the bat here, I like this knife. It was kind of a mistake, and I can't even really call it a mistake. It was just stupidity. I was honestly looking for, I did a video on that Almar and the Boker, just like a fifth pocket little Lockback, and I bought this. It's way bigger. It's a large knife. That being said, I still like it, but there's just a size comparison. There's a Spyderco Slice Bowie. They're almost the exact same length. So it's obviously slimmer profile, but it's a rather large knife. So, and my disclaimer here, guys, is I'm not overly knowledgeable about traditional knives. I'm more or less getting a little bit more into them now. I still like Lockbacks over slip joints. The only real slip joints I have are Swiss Army knives, and I just like them for their utility. And I just always owned one. It was my first knife. So, you know, as far as the jargon for the, you know, I know the covers instead of scales, different things like that, I might be a little off. So, anyway, onto the knife. The fit and finish of this knife is okay. It has a little bit of issues. Overall, I like it. But the blade, I think, is awesome. You have a nice clip point blade with a swedge on top. Grind is very nice and even. You have the logo. It's polished. You have the GEC markings on one side and Cyclops Steelworks on the other. I believe GEC, either their stainless blades are done somewhere else. I think maybe in Ohio. And I don't know if they ship the blades to GEC and they're assembled in Titusville, or this company does the whole knife. I'm not sure. But anyway, like I said, you have maroon linen micarta handle covers, scales, whatever you want to say, and it's honestly gorgeous. The lighting, my lighting is not going to do it justice, but they're really nice, smooth, polished. The transition between the bolsters and the handle material, there's no real high spots or, you know, gaps. It's pretty well done. It's pinned construction, obviously. There's no real gaps between the liners and the handle materials and the bolsters. A little bit of gap here and there, small gaps between the spring for the lock and the liners, but that's not a big deal. Blade centering on this is off, touch off. No big deal, it doesn't rub or anything like that. The problems I have with this knife, where I say it's kind of okay, is there is a little bit of side-to-side play, which isn't, you know, a huge deal. It's a pin knife, it doesn't bother me, but there is a decent amount of up and down play, and you can hear it. When I bought this knife, I knew that would be there, but I'm not gonna lie, up and down play irritates me the most out of anything. So I still like the knife. I knew it, but the guy, I watched the video from the guy from Collector's Knives, and he was basically saying, you know, when you get a Lockback like this, if it's uber tight, it gets to be hard to disengage the lock. And you know what? Honestly, this is like $106 on GP Knives. I got it for less than that. I think it was like the high 80s or something, but I just don't think that's true. I mean, this is a $60 Boker Lockback made in China, and just there's no up and down play whatsoever, and the lock is not anywhere hard to disengage or sticky or hard to break. So, and then if you want to go even on from that, you have this Almar that I did a video on, the Hawk, and like the Lockback on here, I mean, it's just seamless. I mean, it seriously almost looks totally seamless, and it's not hard to disengage either. So, you know, I think that's kind of a bogus excuse for that. And like I said, if you can get a $60 Chinese-made knife to be, you know, solid, I would think GEC could do it too. So that's the down. The good is the blade stock on here is about 125 thou thick in the thickest portion. Behind the edge, it's nice and thin. It's somewhere between .014 and .016. I can't remember exactly, But this thing slices awesome. It's just, I tore up a bunch of cardboard boxes with this thing. 440C held up fine. It's not a super steel, but honestly, it seems to be heat treated well. I cut up a bunch of boxes. It was still sharp afterwards, so I'm happy with it. And it's ergonomics. Like I said, it's comfortable in any grip you want to hold it in. It's just an overall comfortable knife. It's slim. It's got a nice heft to it. It's not like uber light, but it's not like super heavy either. So all in all, I like the knife. Like I said, even like if I'm going to cut up boxes, I'll find myself reaching for this. It just slices so well that it kind of makes up for this. But at the same point in time, if it didn't have that, I would like this knife even more. And like I said, the fit and finish is decent. Like, obviously you can see the gap between the lockup, and like, you know, just little things like that. Like, this knife is Chinese made and it's nowhere near as sloppy there. And the Almar is, I mean, pretty close to perfect in that department, you know what I mean? So, and this is a more expensive knife. This is around $160, I think. But you can just see the fit is just a lot better on this Almar. So that is what it is, and I'm just throwing that out there. Like I said, I'm not overly knowledgeable about traditional knives. All in all, I really do like this knife. It cuts great. Blade's holding up fine. I think it looks good. So it is what it is. That's it, and I'm out.